Good evening, guys. Anita Dawn here from Cell Pilates, and we have made another week. How's your week been? Let me know in the comments. Let me know on the Facebook group. Yeah, share some things with us to brighten up our day, or otherwise, I don't know. Yeah. So this evening, I'm going to do myofascial release with you. Maybe some of you haven't heard about it, but I want you, if you haven't, then do watch. And if you have some prickly balls, which you probably won't, if you haven't heard of myofascial release, then you probably don't know much about trigger point Pilates, trigger pointing, and that's releasing tension in the fascia. Okay, it's relatively new. It's become pretty mainstream. Trigger point Pilates and trigger point Pilates classes. Yeah. So we have fascia. Fascia is really important. We thought it was just connective tissue, but it's actually live. It's all tissue is live, but it actually has. It communicates with every part of the body, and it goes from the crown of the head down to the toes and out through to the fingers, and it's all connected, and it connects the muscles together. And the muscles are not really separated; they're just sort of just carry on, and they're kind of all together in the body. But we do carry tension. If we have a stressful day, if we have an argument with someone, then we're going to carry some tension in the fascia. And we've discovered that by using a little bit of movement over certain areas in the body and then compressing, putting a little bit of pressure through it, that this can really release tension and thereby reduce stress as well. So it's really become very popular, and I know my clients love it. Yeah. So you could use tennis balls, but you won't get that same gentle pressure into the cells, into the fascia, all the muscles. Even it's great for releasing muscles, for rolling. Some people use a roller, and some people do the similar thing with the balls. And because it's nice and gentle, it's squashy, it's not hard plastic, then the cells can relax, and that's what we want, that they really relax. And we use our breath as well. So I really want you to focus on using that exhale to release certain parts of the body. Sometimes we find it hard, particularly to let go of the neck. Yeah, it's been carrying around the head all day, and it carries a lot of tension. So I want you to particularly pay attention to the first bit, and that's releasing tension in the neck. So we're going to have 8, how we go, 8 places, and I'm just going to hold them for about a minute, yeah, and working through. So I hope you enjoy it. You might want to dim your lights. Hopefully there's a lot of hopefullys on there, some quiet music in the background, yeah. So we're going to lie down on the floor and take 2 balls. And the first place we're going to take them is at the back of the head together. Then we go to the top of the neck together, the base of the neck together, and then we separate and we have them both either side, just at the top outside of the shoulder blades there. And then we come down to the bottom of the shoulder blades, and then we go in between the ribs and the hip bones, and then we go on the bones where the dimples often are, and then one onto the tailbone. Yes, so let's get moving so we fit them all in. The first one is the balls together, and you might need to hold them together. They might slip apart with your hair. So have them together, just find where the head is balanced and it's on the heaviest part of your head there. And I want you to relax. If you don't need to hold them, have your hands relaxed down by your sides, palms up to the ceiling, and just start to focus on your breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. And making that exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. So as you exhale, let the head sink into the balls. You might want to do a very small, slow movement, side to side. Don't forget to breathe. Feel the weight of the head sink into the balls. And then a small head nod and lift. So the body responds to slow movement. It relaxes more. And then we'll take the balls, keeping them together, to the top of the neck, just below the base of the skull there. Microphone gets in the way a little bit. And if your head tips back, that's fine. I hope it feels okay. It doesn't tip back too much at this place. So just take a few moments on your exhale to feel the head and the neck grow heavy and sinking into the balls. And then very slowly, just a little bit of rotation side to side, you're just changing the pressure into a part that gets very tense and muscle, just at the base of your skull there, and see how you respond to a little nod. Slow, and then relax in the middle. And then let's take the balls still together, but to the base of the neck, that's just the top of the shoulder blades, and the head will tip back. If that's too uncomfortable, put a very narrow towel or mat under your head. But it's good to stretch out the front of the neck. It gets a little tight as we walk around with a slight forward head posture. So this one I really like. I'm going to lengthen my neck a little bit there as I rotate side to side. And sometimes we need to move the balls around, and there's no really one point. We get tension in different points. And back to the center. A couple of nods, and then let those shoulders sink down to the floor. Okay, so the next one will be separated just to the outside edge of the shoulder blades, the upper edge. So it's best if you keep the balls where they are, and then we'll estimate. So gently come up and move the balls maybe about 4 inches lower and about 4 inches in between the two of them, and then aim to get the top of the shoulder blades. You can always move around, and I'm just going to push myself so I'm a little bit higher. So they want it to be a little bit further apart, and this will push your shoulders forward, and that's actually going to be good. And the head tips back. We're going to bring those arms up over the chest towards the ceiling, and just feel the weight of the arms sink down through to the shoulders and into the tissues on the ball. I'm going to take the arms just a few inches over towards the top of the head, and then over towards the belly button. Really letting go of those shoulders. Breathe. Utilize that exhalation to sink deeper into relaxation in that particular area. Come back to your start position, elbows are soft. Open the arms a little bit to the side. Really trying to let go. I know it's hard. So feel that the cells moving on top of the balls. Let them sink into the skin, the fascia. Back over the chest, small circles. So do feel. You might need to add your own little movement in the shoulder blades a couple of times in each direction, and do feel. And we're looking for the place that hurts the most. And when you find that, you're just going to stay there and maybe press into that area. And then gently bring the arms down. Roll off to your side. We're going to bring those balls a little bit lower to the bottom of the shoulder blades. The bottom of the rib, the ribs are on top of the balls, and it's going to push your ribs up in towards the ceiling, just at the bottom of the rib cage, and your lower back is lifted. You can cross the arms over the chest. We're going to just gently roll very slowly side to side. So you might want to just move around and see where that feels best. Maybe just on the shoulder blades, maybe a little bit below. So as we move, we just changing the pressure on the balls, and then just stay there. Relax the arms down at the sides, and then we're going to place the balls in between the ribs and the hip bones. So you can probably, without coming up, you can just take one ball at a time. A bit of wiggling around, isn't there? And place them just either side of the spine so they're not together, and it's going to tilt the pelvis forward. And it's kind of one of those areas and one of those feelings that is kind of a little uncomfortable but nice, because just see whether you've gone a little low. Just move around a little bit. Where some people find it really uncomfortable. If you're dehydrated, maybe you've got the kidneys are not happy and they might cause a little bit of discomfort, so you'd want to take the balls away. Just putting that little bit of pressure at the top of the pelvis, which the pelvis likes. And then we're going to move the balls down to the bone on either side of the spine there, either side of just above the sacrum, and the pelvis is still tilting slightly. And we're going to move that right knee out to the side. Try to relax it, relax into the ball there. I'm going to lift that right knee up. So try to keep the weight on the ball. And then lift it. And then open. Center and down. And change legs. So let the knee drop open. I'm going to take more time doing this. So usually at least a minute. We're doing about 30 seconds. And lift the legs. So try to keep the weight off the pelvis on the ball. Lift and lower. You can do that a few more times. And then just lift. Drop the knee out to the side. And lift. And back down. And then we're going to take one ball under the sacrum. And let the pelvis balance there. Close to the ceiling. Lengthen the back of the neck. You can move the legs around a little bit. Because it's on the bone, I don't feel it makes too much difference. But you can always stretch the soles of the feet together and drop the knees apart. And then come back to your default leg position. Move the ball away and just stay down there for a moment and see how you feel. It's always nice to do a hip roll. Often do one before coming up into your shoulder bridge, articulating through the spine. We often do this before we do the trigger pointing and afterwards, but I know that my spine feels much less stiff than it did before and feel much more relaxed. So you might want to stay there a little bit longer, okay, and just feel the benefit, or come and sit up and just move your spine around. Just loosen up and see how it feels. See how your neck feels as well. Yeah. So I hope you do feel better from that, more relaxed, less tension in the body. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the masterclass at 10 o'clock. If you can't make it, sign up anyway and you'll get a link. You can watch it in your own time. We'll be using all the equipment, the dumbbells, the flexiband and the door anchor. Don't worry if you don't have any of those. Even if you do the exercises without equipment and just sort of using body weight and your own flexion and tightening of the muscle, and then you're also learning about the exercises, which is good. But of course the having the equipment is worth it and really quite important to get the most out of the exercises. Yeah. And just mention briefly, or check out my little live on the Facebook group, and I mentioned that you have a chance to win a pair, to get a free pair of prickly balls during the course of next week. Okay, you guys have a lovely evening. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a beautiful weekend, but I do hope that I will see you tomorrow. All right, you take care, stay safe, yeah? And if you're having the vaccine, apparently you should rest the following day. And positive mindset.